as it's doing this, I think it needs to, there's still more that needs to happen for me. If you look on a daily, daily bands are still red. We haven't even touched them yet. Lower time frame. If you're looking at when's Bitcoin actually going to have its next big uptrend, keep your eye on the 4 hour trend, right? Which has gone from being an uptrend, 50, 100, 200 all in line, to being the opposite. The 50's below the 100 and 200. So when the bands cross like that, you tend to get choppy phases. You don't tend to get strong, clean trends. You tend to get some chop in both directions as the bands cross over. And you see basically moves in both directions. Chop, chop, chop. Price goes up, price goes down. People sort of flip-flop. The main thing here is Bitcoin looks pretty good, and so anyone who missed the lows again or short into lows again, they're probably going to be starting to flip long, which might be the right idea, but the timing is probably wrong. Right? A lot of people are going to be panicking to get long here. Like, holy shit, Bitcoin really is holding. Bitcoin really is strong. And so that's where you can get bleed back down, some sideways. And if it starts to just chop on sideways, I think that's when it'll build. Time is really needed. A little bit like, even after the sell the news ETF, right? People got bearish and more bearish and more bearish. And then it bounced off the lows, squeezed up, got really choppy for, how long? 26th until the 6th. So over a week, 10 days or so, where Bitcoin was just building a base. You see the 4 hour trend, which was bearish, was flipping back to bullish. Similar situation we're in now, right? So the 4 hour trend was down. In order to build itself back into a 4 hour uptrend, it took 10 days. And eventually the 50 got above the 100, above the 200. Bitcoin broke out and started to trend towards its new highs. That, not the exact same because price never repeats. But I suspect that this is the beginning of a recovery for Bitcoin. There's been a lot of talk about worse liquidity conditions and is the halving sell the news and is May going to be a weak period and tax receipts in the US and risk assets are going to do poorly. All of that's true, but it doesn't have to affect Bitcoin. I think that'll more so affect the altcoin market as meme coins cool off after their big runs and start to form ranges. I know WIF had is in a, let me go here. As I look at some of these, right? This isn't trending yet, right? The previous trend has ended. It's retraced all the way back to this support level, which looks pretty strong and should hold. But it's unlikely that that happens. The question is, when are we next going to have a breakout, right? And so typically, what will happen is some kind of a base will form and it'll start to come out of that and then we move. And so I still think that for proper risk on sentiment and risk on structure and for cause and effect for these accumulation ranges to actually complete, I think time is still needed. Geopolitics doesn't wait until the chart's ready, right? So there's going to be airstrikes and bad news and good news and all this kind of stuff. I just refer you back to Bitcoin. I think the best example is August 2023. Grayscale, undeniably really bullish news, but it happened when Bitcoin was not ready to go up yet. Now the bottom was in, right? And it consolidated and it took another 8 weeks or so and then it went up. I think something similar here. Could be wrong because Bitcoin obviously could just be ready to go and rip. You look at the daily trend is still fully intact, but the daily trend was also fully intact over here. So when the daily trend is defended, which is being defended so far, that's good. Daily trend being defended, perfect. So now you wait for the lower time frames to line up with that, and then that's when you're looking at your next potential breakout. So I think we're getting there. I think there's still work to do for BTC. The main thing to take away is that strong hold of 60 again is undeniably bullish, especially when it came with bad news. It came with fear about war, when people are saying, is Bitcoin going to be strong or weak during times of war? Well, we've seen the answer. It's going to be strong. So, obviously it can go lower. That's not impossible. The case for going below 60 is still there, but the events overnight have definitely reduced that risk. Now, funding across the market was negative during yesterday's session. That's now flipped back to positive as price rallies up. The spot premium is still there. And remember what I was saying yesterday. This is one of the most important things to watch over the next couple of weeks. If Bitcoin continues to be strong, right, and it consolidates and it holds up and it's up around here, and this spot premium remains, then as Bitcoin starts to break key levels, of which 66k I think is the main one, if you still see that spot premium existing, then that means this move is led by spot, and that's going to set up a much better opportunity for price to make new highs. So that's it. GM. See you all later on the live stream. Casual Friday, plus some altcoin requests from yesterday. 4 p.m. UTC. GM. See you then.